Hello, everyone. This is me, Ashutosh, with Anish, Sanjay, and Raju going to present in the topic dual data cache. So, before getting into the topic, let's talk about what is dual data cache. Dual data cache is a novel design with two subcaches, the temporal cache and the spatial cache. Temporal cache has very short lines to better exploit data that only exhibits a temporal locality, whereas the spatial cache has longer lines to better exploit data with a spatial locality and perhaps temporal too. Okay, let's get into the summary of what this presentation is about. So this presentation shows that the current cache, that is the conventional cache, fails to convey ideal outcomes for some vector applications. The report presents this presentation shows that the dual cache is a answer or a solution since it has autonomous parts for arranging temporal and spatial locality. Dual cache permits effective use of the two localities and presents a languid cache strategy which performs caching when helpful. Besides, this report also presents an outline of dual and specific cache, subjective examination of dual cache, and performance evaluation. Introduction. For controlling temporal and spatial locality, the dual cache contains two independent portions. It makes effective use of temporal and spatial localities, as well as a lazy cache policy that only functions catching when it is necessary. The study analyzes and evaluates the dual cache and selective cache features. Current caching, that is the conventional caching, has several shortcomings, limitations, which can be alleviated by dual cache, as dual cache can be more efficient by optimizing the temporal and spatial locality functions. However, there are certain limitations to this, like when there is a large data set and reduced capacity of spatial locale can have inconsistent strides that are not equal to 1. And also sometimes the measured cache lines and total number of sets do not co-prime with each other. Dual cache was seen as a good solution as it can work with both vectors and scalar data. Thus, it results in a better performance than that of conventional cache. So for further information on dual cache, I'd like to, Anish will talk about the further information about dual cache.
Different type of cache displays the unique locality properties when referenced. Dual cache is incorporated with two subcaches, spatial and temporal cache, which works independently and parallel. Dual cache utilizes local predictions table to make predictions, any type of data using historical data. Unlike conventional cache, dual cache has large spatial cache and small temporal cache. Spatial cache exploits both temporal and spatial locality, while temporal cache only exploits temporal locality. Information contained on dual cache includes instruction address, last address, length, stride, as information about local or stored instruction and predictions. Dual cache solve consistency problems witnessed in conventional cache. It allows section of temporal cache when data is both subcache and updates spatial cache when a dirty temporal is replaced with present in spatial cache.
Hello, Professor. This is Sanjay Kesi. The topic for our presentation is dual data cache. Dual data cache system works in that way that they divide data according to their access patterns, and they use different caching algorithm on the divided data. On this project, I have worked slide number 6 and slide number 7, which I am about to explain. Slide number 6, selective cache. A selective cache is a simplified version of the dual data cache. Selective cache behaves as conventional cache with a selective caching policy. Only data with spatial locality or data with temporal locality that is guaranteed not to interfere is cache. Selective cache has same prediction table as dual cache, but only has a single memory. It has similar feature to the current cache, but has a selective policy. Selective cache avoids self-interference of data. Qualitative analysis of dual cache. Rationale for designing dual cache is based on scalars, vectors with constant stride and random vectors. The default value assumes prediction when scalars are used. Load or store instruction is utilized for vectors separated by constant stride to access elements. So,
my name is Raj Shrestha, and I have worked into slides 8 and 9, which is performance evaluations and conclusions. Talking about the performance evaluations, performance of dual data cache is normally calculated or measured in terms of quantity, which is also called the hit ratios. And when the CPU refers to the memory and reveals the word in the cache is far stated, it has successfully occurs. And also the performance was also evaluated on the based on vectorized and non-vectorized based on synthetic benchmark, kernels, and SPEC 92 benchmark. Talking about this performance, which is really poor in the few cases, but it generally recorded improved performance than conventional caches. Now I'm going to the next slide, which is a conclusion part. Well, talking about the conclusions, so dual data cache is novel design with the two sub-caches, which is temporal and the spatial caches. Talking about the temporal cache is has very short lines to exploit that data that only exhibits the temporal caches, and whereas the spatial cache has longer lines to better the exploit that of the spatial localities. And also dual data cache is the scheme that decides in which the sub-caches is reference is placed. Well, at the end, and areas are conventional cache in most cases, which is based on the evaluation benchmark. This is the presentations we have given, and this is the conclusion part. Thank you so much.